Hi, good evening. Welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. Has Donald Trump betrayed us? Betrayed the UK? I'm going to say something now that's going to upset a lot of people. No, I don't think he has. I think, if anything, he's going to do us a great big favour. Yes, he's probably going to impose tariffs on us like the rest of the EU, but maybe this will make people in government wake up, and in the mainstream media, wake up and realise we've left the EU. We've been parading, or Starmer has, parading around Europe as if we're still a member of it. The British people voted out. That has never been respected by the political class. And tonight they're going to get their bottoms smacked by Donald Trump. He's had enough of it. He's had enough of paying for NATO. He's had enough of paying for our defense. He wants us to pay more. And also, he got elected on a simple ticket: make America great again. We were warned. He talked about tariffs when he was last in power. Now he's doing it. He's basically saying, why should you be able to produce cars, import them into his country, and sell them for less money? That's basically the simple economics of it. He's saying if you build them in America, it'll be cheaper. He's trying to create work and jobs. Now, some people say it's naive. I'm not an economist. All I know is he did say he was going to do it, and now he's doing it. And I find that, I'm sorry to be a bit old-fashioned, I find that refreshing. And as this broadcast develops, I'll try and expand on it and why I think Trump is going to do us a massive favour. He's also attacking the new online bill act that they're trying to get through. We know J.D. Vance has had a go at that. They're saying that we've got no freedom of speech in the United Kingdom. They're correct. They're correct. Since Starmer has come to power, our freedom of speech has declined. Now, you'd thought it would go up with a Labour or socialist government, but no, it's almost at George Orwell levels now, where even if you're a 2-year-old, you can be transphobic. It's ludicrous. It's mad. And it's got to stop. And it's all tied in with this woke nonsense. And Starmer thinks he got elected because we agree with him on all these things. He only got elected, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face, because he was the least worst option. If you want to comment, feel free. Just put up anything that you want to say. Donald Trump is going to, in a way, betray us tonight, but that's good news. He's also given the green light to the Chagos Islands deal. So we're going to give that to Mauritius, even though they're thousands of miles away. And then we're going to pay for the privilege in millions and billions of pounds over the next few years. Why would you give something back and then pay rent on it? It's ludicrous. Again, I don't understand why Starmer's doing it. I do not believe the British people are with him. And today, of course, it's the anniversary of the Falklands War, a war that on one level wasn't worth fighting, but on another major level was very, very important in our history and restoring pride in our great country. But there is no pride now. There's no pride in Britain or the UK and what we are, not from this lousy Labour government. They hate us, and they particularly hate the white working class men, even though they're the ones that he'll want to try and conscript into the army to fight in Ukraine. Do you see how these things tie together? And I'm saying, I hope Starmer is humiliated. He made this big thing about, oh, yeah, I went to the White House, and all the mainstream chums in the media who were all in his pocket of his expensive designer suit that he didn't pay for, that, look, why did he do that? That Lord Ali paid for. Oh, suits you, sir. They're all in the pocket of Keir Starmer. They're all part of this cozy club. And today I've been laughing my duck off whilst they've all been panicking. Oh, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? What's going to happen? Oh, and then as the day went on, the amount of jobs we were going to lose carried on going into the stratosphere. I've just had a look now. It's 25,000 jobs in the motoring industry, they're saying. They don't even know what he's going to say yet. It's mass panic on the streets of Westminster. That's a lyric, isn't it? Panic on the streets of Birmingham. Morrissey, love it. But anyway, that's what's been going on today in the mainstream. And of course, they hate Trump because what Trump's done in America, he's disturbed their cozy little atmosphere. When the Democrats were there and Biden was shitting his pants, they had a position where everybody who went to White House briefings was on message. Trump has changed that. You can get an invitation if you're doing a show like me. Well, you've probably got to be a bit more popular, but you can get an invitation to be there. They don't like it. It's disturbed what's going on, the status quo. So when Starmer goes to the White House and all his chums in the press say, oh, he's like a big international statesman, he becomes Billy Big Boots. So then he thinks he can set up his coalition of the willing, or as I've described it, the coalition of the unwilling, or the coalition of the flaming useless. Why did he have those two meetings? He had another meeting. He's had two meetings with the so-called European leaders to see if they'd help him by putting boots on the ground, despite the fact that Putin says if there's any European troops there, he won't sign a peace deal. And secondly, that Trump doesn't want them and doesn't want to pay for them. And what the Europeans are saying, oh, this is what we want to do, but you've still got to pay for it, Donald. And Donald's basically saying, they call it flipping the bird in America. It's ludicrous. So they had these two meetings. Starmer makes out he's a great diplomat, a great statesman. The press, particularly the BBC and Sly News, they play him up. They polish him up so that he's suddenly a combination of an Iron Bevan, right, and Winston Churchill. Oh, and a bit of Nelson Mandela. He's after a Nobel Peace Prize. The person who should get the Nobel Peace Prize, if he pulls off the Ukraine peace deal, is Donald Trump. But do you think he'll get it? Of course not, because the people who give out these prizes, they're part of the same cozy, comfortable club. So today, Starmer thinks he's a statesman. Starmer keeps on saying the whole of the UK is with Zelensky. Not true. That's my opinion. I don't think they are. I talk to people. No one says to me, oh, yeah, I'm well behind it. They also have had enough of Ukraine now. We've helped them. We've now got to move forward. We've got to get peace. And when he had his little temper tantrum, I don't think people were very amused. And then all of this has become a fallout from that. Basically, think of Roseanne Barr. I keep using this imagery. She doesn't want to pay for your jobs. She doesn't want to pay for your defense. Why? Well, because she's gorging herself to death in middle America on a big bucket of Kentucky fries. This is very simple terms. She doesn't want to pay for your meal or your tofu burger, right? Starmer doesn't get this because he's not got the common touch. He doesn't understand what people think. Trump does. That's his base, and that's how he got elected, and that's how he'll get elected. Well, he won't get elected again, although he's now saying maybe I can do a third term. I don't like all that nonsense he's coming out with. But the basic premise of what he's saying is, why should you undercut us? And why should you undercut us when I'm subsidizing you or paying for your defense? So I think that's right. So Keir Starmer is probably going to get a smacked bottom tonight, and I hope he does. Because then maybe he'll start thinking, maybe I'd have been better off going to Washington those weekends rather than, I don't mean Tyne and Wear, I mean Washington, D.C., and talking to Trump, rather than making out I'm an international diplomat and I can actually change things. Because what today has proved, the mainstream media, the BBC and Sly News and the rest of them, and the newspapers, they're all in thrall of Donald Trump. He's played an absolute blinder. He is controlling the whole agenda, even to the point that, it's 9 o'clock he's making this announcement, 9 o'clock our time. Well, that's 4 o'clock in Washington, D.C. So he'll be ready for the 6 o'clock bulletins, and he'll dominate it, not just in America, but around the globe. He's acting as if he's still doing The Apprentice. He's Lord Sugar on steroids. He was the original presenter of it, of course, in the States. He knows how to play the media, and he doesn't have to play up to the established media. He's got clever people around him who've understood, a bit like Nigel Farage, they've understood the importance of the new media and social media. So he can combine both. He's an absolute natural in front of the camera. He's an absolute natural at manipulating the press. And now he's obviously got very bright. He's got one of the brightest blokes in the world, hasn't he? Elon Musk working for him. The man who owns Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. He's the man who can catch rockets out of the sky. Even if you hate him, you've got to accept he's brilliant. And now he's got all the social media companies with him. So he's got people like Mark Zuckerberg. And he's got the bright young things coming out of Silicon Valley. And he's teaming up with India because he knows how many intelligent, highly educated, switched on kids there are in India. He's playing us all. Well, it's not playing me. I understand what he's doing. I admire it. I respect it. And he's saying, we're the biggest country in the world. I am the leader of the free world. We're going to do it my way. We've tried it your way, and it doesn't work. It ends up with a senile old bloke pooing his pants on stage. That's what he's basically saying. So let's do it my way. Let's do it my way and see if that makes America great again, and you can come on the back of my coattails. Am I being too simplistic? Got any views? Let's have them, please. They're all coming in now. I'll talk to you, or I'll read out your comments in a moment. This is the John Gaunt Show. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and it's on X. I'm also, got to tell you, I've got onto that, what's it called? TikTok. And basically, we've got AI now. So at the end of my show, it clips up all the show for me without me even having to do it. And then it goes on there, and I get thousands of hits. I've just got 50,000 hits for a 25-second or 30-second clip of me talking about the rape gangs. It's also on Facebook and it's on X as well. So follow me on TikTok as well. And then my handle, with the kids, my handle on there is John Gaunt Official, I think. All right. So that's that. That's all that out of the way. Oh, and by the way, thanks to the people who bought me a coffee last night. Really, really appreciated it. It boosted my earnings for the week. But also, I've changed it now. I've had enough coffee. You can't keep drinking coffee. I'll be on speed the way I'm going. So I've changed it to you can buy me a pint. Because loads of people say, oh, you're such a good bloke, Gaunt. I'd love to buy you a beer. Well, no, you can. It still says buy a coffee, but it's buy a pint, right? Buy a drink. So feel free, £5 and upwards, help me out. So here's my theory tonight. I've not quite got my head around the Chagos Islands deal. I haven't. I'm worried about that. But I understand what Trump's going to do tonight. It's not a direct betrayal of the UK. Keir Starmer could have stopped it happening if he wanted. He could have got a deal if he'd been polite. Maybe if Trevor Lammy hadn't called Trump a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Maybe if Lord Mandelson hadn't called him a moron, these things would have helped. See, these things come back to bite you. But Starmer could have made more. And here's the other thing. Starmer's been on the phone all day, evidently, pooing his pants, metaphorically speaking, trying to get a deal. Why has he left it so late? Trump hasn't made a secret of this. He said it in the last term he was in office, and he said it during the election campaign. It was quite clear he was going to make sure we started paying our way. So I think Keir Starmer scrambling to patch things up is just a joke. But I think it's a big political play by Trump. He's putting everybody in their place. He's saying, I'm the leader of the free world. And he's almost saying, it's my way or the highway. Now, thank God, and I hope and pray it works. I think it will. But they hate it. They don't like it up 'em. Well, some of them do. They don't like it up 'em, Captain Mannering. They don't like this new style. Somebody who just says, no, I'm going to do it. Oh, when are you going to do it then, Mr. Trump? In his second year of office? No, today or tomorrow or basically yesterday. Now, Elon Musk is leaving. So again, then the BBC almost started orgasming over that news coming out. Oh, they've had a big fallout. They've had this. Then somebody must have got on the phone to them and said, how do you know they've had a fallout? Well, he's leaving. Well, he said he was going to leave right at the beginning. He was only going to be there till May. Check your diaries. It's March now. And Trump said he's going soon. That doesn't mean there's been a fallout. He's done his work. His job was to go in there with a chainsaw and slash government and slash the civil service, which is what we need to do in this country. Once that's done, other people can move into position. You don't keep the most intelligent man, the richest man in the world, in Washington forever. But you see, again, the mainstream media was salivating over this. They want to be a big bust up, just like the way they tried to stitch up Dominic Cummings. I know he was an idiot on lots of levels, but he had some good ideas as well. But this is what they do. Anybody who disturbs their cozy club, they'll have them. That's why Farage, it'd be really more or less impossible for him to get elected, I think, in this country, because the establishment win. Billy Connolly summed it up. Whoever you vote, no point in voting. Whoever you vote for, the government always gets in. And that's kind of true. We should have been firmly in bed, well, maybe not metaphorically speaking, with Donald Trump, not with Zelensky and not with the European Union. They'll always let you down. They'll always let you down. But the bunch of sixth formers we've got in power, they don't like Trump. It's a bit like I was trying to say to you yesterday. When people come onto my show and they go, "Oh, I've just found you again. I went off you because of your views on COVID, so I was never going to listen to you again." And it's like, it's so obvious. When they said it to me, I knew they'd come back, right? "I'm never listening to you again. You're a fascist. You're this. You're an authoritarian." They come back. Why? Because I'm interested. That's why. But I don't want you to agree with everything I say. That's not the kind of radio, audio, TV, whatever this thing is I'm doing now. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to tell you my truth. If you don't agree with it, hold on, because in a minute's time, there might be another thing I say that you do agree with. It's just childish to think you have to agree with everybody. Is it Oasis who sang "Don't Put Your Faith in a Rock and Roll Band"? I can't remember the next bit of the lyric, but it's basically they'll let you down. Don't have heroes. Don't have footballers as your hero. Be your own person. Make up your own opinions based on all this other stuff you've read and done. And as I say, today, I've been laughing like a drain. Today is payback after years of political sniping between the Labour Party, those six formers, and Donald Trump. I don't think they ever thought they were going to get in power, so they probably thought it wouldn't matter. Yeah, but who sucks? I hate you, Donald Trump. You're a rapist. That's the best one. He's not a rapist, but that's what they accuse him of. So maybe he's just thought, I'll give you a slap before I move on, before I bring world peace in Israel and also in, I forgot what it's called, Ukraine. Yeah, maybe that's what he's thinking. But I do believe he'll make America great again, and he could make the world. If he makes America great, he makes America tough and strong, and he's a strong president, then we'll have a strong world and a peaceful world. No wars. Remember this. No wars, no conflicts when he was in power last time. He doesn't want that. He's too busy trying to make money. Oh, and how terrible he wants to make money for himself as well. Is that a problem? Is that a problem? That's certainly better than like a lot of socialist, what do you call them, leaders who end up making money anyway. I think you know what I'm talking about. Del Boy says, "Good evening, John. We need a prime minister like Trump who puts this country and its citizens first." Well done, Del. Absolutely agree with you, because that's another thing you can't take away from him. He said he's doing what he said was on the can. He's doing it. I'll make America great again. I will put America first. That's what he's doing. We need a leader like that. We got a problem with these people coming in from Mexico. When I get in power, I'm having loads of drones. I'm having the army down there and the Marines, and I'm going to whip their ass and send them straight back. And the numbers will drop. Oh, guess what? That's what he's done. And the numbers have dropped. There's hardly anyone trying to get across the border anymore. See how big that border is compared to the channel? We could solve it overnight. I've said it last night, and I said it the day before. What we need to do, there's two things. One, you need to deal with anybody else coming in by immediately saying you'll be going into tents. Here's the tents where I've put everybody else in. I've closed all the hotels. There's some on, I don't know if it's on Talk Radio or GB News. Wouldn't have been the BBC, I think. Oh, it was the BBC, I think. There were some of these migrants bragging about how they get a hotel. It's never going to act as a deterrent. So the first thing is put them in tents, look after them, be humane. But any new arrivals, hot meal, new clothes, you can get Lord Ali to measure them up. And then put them back on the boat. We can even use the RNLI. They'll just have to turn the boats around and take the lifeboat, back to Calais and drop them there. A French politician today, he is more of a Farage type, but he said today, we're not doing enough. We, the French, have not done enough. So they're beginning to crack. So that's the first thing. That will stop them coming. Number two, the people who are here, we are not going to give them an amnesty. We are going to assess them. We should take on loads of legal graduates. I've got a friend who runs a medical, these medical lawyers companies? He runs it like an industrial complex. So he's got all these, they're all proper trained lawyers, but they've not got much experience. But they work to a format. So you've got a medical negligence case, you go to him, he signs it off because he's the top man, which is not a good thing really, but everybody else does all the donkey work. That's what you could do with illegal immigration. It's simple. It's easy. And then, unlike lots of people, I don't believe in deporting everybody who's got in, because there might be some people we need, the brightest and the best. And if they can make a good cappuccino and clean my car, they can. You understand where I'm coming from? That was a joke for you liberal woke warriors. Dubro20 on YouTube says no. I meant to understand what he means by that, or she. I haven't got a clue what you mean, love. Dunstan Cook, evening Gaunty. If Trump's tariffs cause thousands of job losses, should we roll out the red carpet for him, or should the state visit be cancelled? What? What planet are you on, Dormston? All these idiots, these lefty idiots who've said, we should cancel the state visit because of, I can't remember what his misdemeanor was. No, we shouldn't. If we can have a state visit for the Chinese dictator, we can have one, can't we? For Donald Trump. I remember when he came before, Citizen Khan, he'd been up the backside of the Chinese guy, or whatever his name is, and he then complained about Trump, which is where maybe a lot of this antagonism comes from. No, we shouldn't. If we lose jobs, those jobs would have gone eventually anyway. And this sounds really harsh. What he's saying is, why should he or the American people subsidize those jobs? Make a product that we want. I mean, the thing is, the products it's mostly going to affect are rollers, expensive watches that we make, salmon. I saw my old friend Lance Foreman on there today, who's got the oldest salmon smoker. He was on GB News. And he was just, we'll have to become more competitive in a different way or whatever. But let's wait and see what happens. He wouldn't play their game. They wanted him to come on and say, I'm going to get bankrupt. No, because he's a proper capitalist. He's a proper entrepreneur. He will adapt and survive. He's one of the guys who, during the Olympics, Ken Livingstone was trying to steal his land for the Olympic Stadium for less money than it was worth. I was the first person to report on that when I was on BBC London. And I think I helped him. Anyway, that's a separate issue. But my point is, Dormston, and it sounds terrible to say this, almost sounds treasonous. I'm a traitor to say, I don't believe in Keir Starmer. I believe in Donald Trump. And I think if our leaders did what we wanted them to do, he should have been in bed with Trump. Now, it may turn out, and who knows, and God help us, let's hope it does, Trump turns around and has a different tariff for us. Maybe. But I somehow doubt it. The way they're briefing this afternoon, the media, the chummies, they've all been told what's going to happen. And it sounds like it's SH1T. How we get back from that, I don't know. But I suggest we start talking straight away. I suggest we don't have another coalition of the useless Keir Starmer. I noticed Germany today said, we mustn't be confrontational. So they're kind of getting the message. But they should have got the message back in November, at least, when he got elected. Because the standard of our politicians is so abysmal. If you don't believe me, look at the state of the EU. It's useless. It's full of corruption. I've been there. I almost had a fight there with the guy who's now the president of Finland. I wouldn't let him be the president of my local Scouts Association. And I'm not exaggerating. Dumb, dense, no charisma. Like when Nigel called what's the name it? Said you've got the personality of a damp dishcloth. He wasn't far wrong, was he? And have you ever met any MPs who got elected to go there? I love them when they get them on telly. Here's so and so used to be an MEP, is an MEP. It's like, yeah, so what? So I used to anyway. Doesn't matter. I will leave it there. Evening, John. No, Trump has not betrayed the UK, says Steve on YouTube. This is all down to Starmer, who wants to side. Oh, thank you. You agree with me. With the Europeans. We voted to leave, so Starmer goes cap in hand to Trump. Should go cap in hand to Trump. And let's work with America. Well said. Oh, here's a great one. Mary on Twitter. John, you're so bitter. I think you mean you are so bitter. So you should have spelt it YOU apostrophe RE. Why am I bitter? Well, I'm bitter that I'm not the president of America, that I'm not the prime minister of England. What are you talking about? I'm bitter. I've just got a strong opinion, Mary. Do you know what? It's not like the BBC. You don't have to watch or listen. You don't have to because you're not paying for it, are you? I don't recall a contribution from Mary. Follow what I'm saying? What is wrong with some people? Or is it some sort of sadomasochistic kind of gig that you kind of like listening to me or watching me because you hate me so much, right? John Starmer, the charmer, needs to grow a set. You're absolutely right. Maggie Thatcher had bigger balls than him. Dark Angel says, evening, John. Evening, Dark Angel. Glad you can make it on time. Steve Sider Mark on YouTube says, I hope Trump tells Starmer and Lammy where to go. They are reaping what they have sowed. And then he's got a picture of the American flag and a dollar bag of cash. You're absolutely right, mate. You are. Lammy, £7,000 on biscuits. That's what he represents, the fat so-and-so. I can say that because I'm fat. £7,000 on biscuits for one meeting. That's what's wrong with world politics. There's a bit of geopolitics for you, Mick. Daz Wellings, karma for Starmer. Oh, I like that. Tomorrow, if he does get a rollicking today, that's going to be my headline. Do you mind if I nick it off you, Daz? I'm going to use that on my, what do you call it? What do you call those things you put them on YouTube? I don't know what they're called. I'm only learning how to do it. You have to, but I'm using AI now. So have you noticed they're getting better? Me banners, yeah? It's quite a good one today, I think, of, what's his name? Trump. And what's it? But you just tell it what you want. You don't have to have any artistic thing. What are they called? What are those things called? Thumbnails. Bloody garbage. Nigel Gordon. If I ever make a go of it, if I become a YouTube millionaire, it'll be by default, right? It won't be by design because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I keep watching these videos of what you should do, what you should say in the first 5 seconds, what you should say here, and how you keep people listening. Well, when I was doing radio and had 1 million listeners, I kind of just did that naturally. So I'm just going to, hey, and I'm going to talk about ordinary things as well. Like today, I put up a tweet saying, you can tell I'm at my daughter's at the moment. This is her kitchen. And she's left a load of plants. And she said, look after the plants. Make sure you water them. I said, yeah, don't worry. I hate gardening, right? In all my years, I used to have a massive garden, right? I hate it. Lisa loves it. I hate it. But I think I'm being converted. I think I might want to sleep with Monty Don soon because she's got these little seed things in the windowsill of the room I'm sleeping in, right? And they've got little plastic covers on top. And she said, what you do is once you start seeing some sprouts, take the lid off that one and put it on the one next to it. So I've done it and I've watered them every day. And they're growing. And then I keep going up during the day every 2 or 3 minutes to. It's a bit like checking my Twitter followers. I'm obsessed with these bloody plants. So I go up, and then the thing I was amazed with, if you don't water them, like I think she hadn't watered them for a day, when I put the water on, woof, they start going. It's like the day of the bloody Triffids. I found 2 Japanese soldiers in there the other day. They still thought the war was up. Joke. Oh dear, that's not woke, is it? But what I'm trying to say is, it's been amazing. And it's amazing to discover something that you've never done, but actually you quite like. So I've got off on it. How about that? Gaunting, because I'm on my own. I can't talk to myself all night. I talk to you lot for half an hour. And then I'm on my own. Got the dog, but he doesn't answer back. So I'm getting into, well, I don't know if I'm getting into gardening, but I'm getting, it's like, do you remember when you were at school, cotton wool, and you put mustard cress in and it grew? It was brilliant, wasn't it? Not as good as blowing up Bunsen burners and test tubes, but you know where I'm coming from. Do kids still do that? Do they still grow cress? Probably grow cannabis now, don't they? Or skunk, I don't know. Nigel Gordon, Trump is like a headmaster, getting the teachers into Bolockham. They're the world leaders. He's ruling the world. Starmer is knackered, still hanging on Europe. Stuff Europe, they are knackered too, says Nigel Gordon. Nigel, are you related to Shakespeare? That was so eloquent. I'm joking with you. But you're right. Everything you've just said is correct. I'm the most powerful man, not me. I'm talking as Trump now. I'm playing a part. It's going to be a beautiful day. I'm the most powerful man. You're going to do what I say. What's wrong with that? Most people like that. Jocelyn Powell, he was the gayest bloke ever, the professor of drama at the University of Birmingham. A marvellous bloke, right? Camp as anything. He used to dress like a Nazi submarine skipper, right? If do you remember in Dad's Army when Philip Maddock was it, and he was there, he was like him, but so camp, right? And we used to have these staff student meetings because it was the beginning of universities going a bit woke, and he had to listen to what we thought. And one day he stood there and he went, he's got a black leather jacket on, black polar neck, right? And he's got his leather boots on, and he says, "I tell you what, I've had enough now. You talk about whatever bullshit you wish, and then I'll make my mind up. Bye-bye." And he walked out. He minced out. And that was the end of it. That was the end of staff student meetings. But you know what? We all loved him to bits. When he died, he was one of the first people to die of that terrible disease, AIDS. We all went to his funeral. It had a massive turnout because we respected him. A bit like Ken Cook, my PE teacher. If we went to PE and had a bit of mud on your pumps, bend over, Gaunty, take your pump off. You had to give him the other way around. Take your pump off, bend over, and he'd give you 2 on the arse. But I tell you what, you'd make sure your pumps were clean next time. That's what's missing in schools. That casual brutality that taught you respect. I'm only half joking. No, Starmer is the wrong one, says Tony Holland. Are you the Tony Holland who created EastEnders? Here's a job. Anyway, Seaside Mark, Daz, thumbs up. Thank you. Dark Angel, I would love Trump running our country. Dark Angel, I am with you. Graham Hatton says, later gone again, John. Look, it's 7 o'clock every night. How can you not be here on time, you plonker? Starmer doesn't give a stuff about us. I would love to see our cemeteries full of young troops coming back from the Ukraine, just so he can have his place in history. I'm not so sure about that, but I'll tell you what I will take from that. There's another thought I had this afternoon, Graham, in between going to check on my plants and my seedlings. I got told what they were called today. I was calling them plant, not a seedling. Anyway, when I went upstairs, I was coming back downstairs and I was thinking, I know what Starmer's up to. Starmer wants Trump to go mental tonight so he can say, this is why we should be back in the EU. Because you think about his coalition of the useless. Everybody agrees there's no point of it in it at all, and it hasn't worked. Have you noticed the mainstream press don't really talk about it? Do you notice they haven't really talked also about the coalition of the let's smash the gangs that they had yesterday and the day before? Nothing's come of that. So they're keeping quiet, the chums in the media, the mainstream media, the lamestream media, because what's going on here is I think Starmer would like Trump to go off on one and say, that's it, Europe. No. So Starmer says, our strength is unity. We all need to be together. So then some pipsqueak, probably my mate who wanted to get a kick in the European Parliament, said, hold on a minute. We're all in the EU, you're not. Oh, can I join again? Yeah, okay then. Simple, but I wouldn't be surprised. Jason Monday just says, yes. What are you saying yes to? Thank you. Chris Scott at Dark Angel, apparently you don't know prophecy. You want a world leader? I think that's what she was saying. Yes, she wouldn't mind him being the leader of our country as well. She's entitled to her opinion. We are attracting them to France to get here. The French should stop them at their borders, says Dark Angel. You're right. Laugh out loud, says Chris Scott. Oh, here we are. I don't know if you're a lady. I can't tell because your picture's too small. The brightest and best don't come into a country illegally. Well, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think they do. I told you about my dad going to Cuba, and like there was nuclear physicists who were waiters. So they do. If you're very bright and you want to get out, you do. So I think you're talking rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Anyway, Gaunt, I'm playing devil's advocate. Don't do that. It's pathetic. All I'd say is that we're virtually level in exports and imports are equal. That's true. We haven't got a trade surplus or deficit with the States. So if it's reciprocal tariffs, then there's no reason to inflict them. You go and tell Donald Trump that. Hey, Dumpston, you're like me when I was at school. I'd be the one who'd stir up the trouble. And then just before Grimes, the headmaster, came in, I'd sit back down and the other lads would get the cane. Don't be that. Don't be me. Be something different. I also think it's a lot to do with this stance over Ukraine and Zelensky. It is. I'll let you have it, Gaunty, says Daz Wellings. Oh, you're talking about I've forgotten what it was now. Your headline for me next thumbnail. I'll have to look back through the things. It was good. Ronnie Hurst. Ronnie. Do you remember him? He was brilliant, wasn't he? Hey, the two Ronnies. What a great show. See, now none of that would be allowed anymore. Not in Starmer's woke Britain. Oh, no. Anyway, it's on GB News. Tories are calling for a national rape gang inquiry, but that won't happen. Well, they've taken their time. They're in power for 14 years. The rapes have been going on for at least 40, to my certain knowledge. So I ain't going to get too excited about Labour suddenly getting a conscience. All of them are self-serving pigs. Graham Hatton says, I'm on shift, mate. That's my excuse for a late arrival. All right, then. I forgive you. Send me a $5 for a beer and I'll definitely forgive you. www.buymeacoffee.com. We are, where are we now? We are virtually level in exports and imports equals, oh no, you've done that twice. I hope you're not neglecting walking the dog, Gaunty. Seedlings will be okay once you've checked them for a while. No, well, the dog normally goes to a thing called doggy daycare where loads of dogs are there. They can run around in a field. And so this week he wasn't going to go. It was going to be with me. But then Rosie said, I'll tell you what, Dad, one day, give you a break. It's big of her. I've been here since Friday. When did I come? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What day's today? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I've been here 6 days. So the lady came this morning and took him away. You should have made me. It's a bit like your kids. The dog went crazy when he realised it was her at the door, jumped all over her, whatever, walked off. He didn't even look back at me. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about, you. Didn't even look back. Just, well, I'm off, Dad. Boof, gone. Gone to run with his mates. He's come back. He got up on the settee. He's knackered. He's fallen asleep. Now, the only good thing about that is it means he'll sleep all night tonight. Because normally, I've got to that age, you've got to get up at 3 and have a pee. So I got up 2 nights on the trot, it's worked. I come back into the bedroom, because I'm keeping him in that room so I know where he is. And he's on the bed, spread-eagled. And I'm going, get off. Come on, I've got to get back in there. It takes me about 10 minutes. Start naked. I hope nobody's looking in through the window. Right? They'll be getting a right thrill, won't they? Anyway, what did I just say? Where was I up to before I started talking about my sleeping arrangements with the dog? Oh, yeah. So he just lay down on the settee. I got out his food, and normally he's there, right? Poof, wants the grub. No. I had to wake him up for him to come and get his evening meal. He's that knackered. Yes, I'm talking to you. Now I'm auditioning for that job, for Paul O'Grady job. Well, he was great, wasn't he? He was brilliant on that show. And they're giving it to that fat blackbird. What's her name? I can't remember. Alison. I used to meet her on the train. She's actually a very nice woman. I didn't mean that in the derogatory way it sounded. But anyway, she's rubbish on that. She's good on other programs, but she's rubbish on that. Someone pointed out today, as us, the consumer, what was the last thing you purchased from the United States? I'll be honest, I can't remember. Just add into your debate. That's fair enough. I don't know, Dad. What's the last thing I bought from the States? Probably a bit of software for this. I don't know what it does. I mean, it sounds impressive, doesn't it? Bit of AI. It's always in dollars. Everything you do on this blooming YouTube nonsense, it's all in dollars. And then they charge you extra for paying in dollars. I don't understand it. Lol, dogs are loyal, says Ronnie Hurst. They certainly are. Dunstan Cook says £9.99 super sticker. What's that mean? What's that mean? Have a beer, Gaunty. Thank you. Well, you have a beer. You got to do it through buy me a bit. I don't know what a super sticker is, but thank you very much. As long as I get the cash eventually, I don't care. Anyway, listen, I've enjoyed that. I'm going to go now because I'm going to make myself hot chili pasta with cherry tomatoes. What meat am I having in it? Did I forget to get any meat? Oh, I'm having tuna. I found this recipe on the internet. The things you find when you just start going through it. And this Italian guy, right? And it's not the one who just got the bullet from the burglar. Not him. It's another one. And he basically said, put the ingredients in, but you can cook this in 10 minutes. But make sure you give it 10 minutes so that the ingredients have time to make love to each other. How brilliant is that? How brilliant is that? I'll try and find the video and I'll put it up. How brilliant is that? Right? And the ingredients are red chilies, passata, tomato juice, we'd call that, wouldn't we? What else is in there? I think there might be an onion. I can't remember. Little cherry tomatoes, a can of tuna, and something else. But he says you've got to make love to the ingredients. I ain't making love to red hot chilies, mate. Never. Anyway, listen. Sorry, I've digressed a bit. I don't know whether that's the right thing to do. I'm going to have to go back and watch another YouTube video so I can learn how to do it. I'm not doing too badly, though. The numbers are growing. So thank you for that. If you're listening later or watching later or listening to it as a podcast, thank you. All you've got to do now is press the like button on everything. Follow me on YouTube because that's John Gaunt TV. Follow me on that new thing that I'm doing, TikTok. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing there. It's brilliant. I wish, when I was in radio, why didn't we have AI then? I employed a load of idiots to do all the bits like, edit that and turn that into something that sounds okay, right? For a trail. Now you just go, press a button. You don't even select the bit you want. This super duper Elon Musk creation does it for you. I'd have been a millionaire. Not £1 million in debt. Anyway, sorry. I'm off. Watch it tonight, 9:00, Trump. Let's hope that Starmer gets his bottom smacked. I hope that within all my little bits of humour, you've understood what I'm trying to get at. That I think there's a bigger play here, but I think there's quite a few players involved in it. I'm going to go and cook my chili, and I'm also going to go and check my seedlings. I'm a little bit concerned about my seedlings. Any gardening tips you got, they're all gratefully received, but I'd much rather you buy me a coffee beer. www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. I've enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed that. I hope you have. And if you haven't, well, I don't care. Clear off. I'll get somebody else. But I'd like you to enjoy it. Right, I'm going. I shall see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 7:00. Especially that guy who was late again. Tomorrow at 7:00, Thursday. I'm not going to do them on Friday, but I might do one during the day Friday because I'm still here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It'll be a rainforest by the time she comes back. Oh, look at this. Graham Fletcher. Elon Musk is rumoured to be leaving his role as planned. Oh, I see you're taking the mickey, yeah. The mainstream media have been loving that. They've been orgasmic over that. They think there's been a fallout. There hasn't. He was always going to go. All right, I'm off. See you tomorrow, 7:00. Thank you for joining in. Remember, you don't have to watch it live or listen live. That's the beauty of the internet. So until tomorrow, if you are watching it live, I shall see you. If you got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them and look after their seedlings and the dog. Yes, I'm talking about you. He's not happy. See you later.